Hey everyone, welcome back to Extra Time. I'm Greg Lawless alongside Shep and Jason, the producer. Act 3, looking for a miracle. Well, yesterday's show on Wednesday, we talked about those teams that have their tickets waiting at will call, those 3 teams that are in the playoff zone already and what they need to do to stay there. In Act 3, we're talking about those guys who are wandering around in the parking lot looking for a miracle. I need a miracle, looking for that ticket to get into the big show. Those 4 teams that are on the outside looking in: New England, Dallas, DC, and Real Salt Lake. We'll start with the New England Revolution. They have 1 win in 8 games, guys. 1 win in 8 games. This is a team that normally down the stretch is very, very strong. They've only scored 1 goal in their last 4 games. Jason, what do they need to do to get into the playoffs?
They need to win. They need to go to Columbus and win this game. That's really their only chance. Yeah. So I don't think Columbus is going to want to back into the playoffs. They lost last week. I don't think they're going to want to lose 2 in a row going into the playoffs. So I don't think they're going to do New England any favors. They're going to get a strong Columbus team, and they need to beat them.
I think Jason's right, and that's the biggest factor for me. Columbus will want to finish this season on a high note. I never underestimate a Stevie Nickel team. He's got to get some set pieces in the attacking third, get Shalry Joseph on the end, and hope.
Where does Shalry Joseph play? Does he play up top?
I think it depends on if Edgaras Jankowskis is healthy. If he's healthy, you put him up top and you put Shalry Joseph in the midfield where he can start to distribute a little bit more. But you're right. They need 3 points. They need to come out with that fire that says, regardless of all the injuries, no Twellman, no Albright, no Ralston, all that. We just lost Paul Mariner, our assistant coach. Doesn't matter. We need to push to get goals.
Matt Reese has the ability, and he's shown it over the years, to keep his team in the game. Yeah. Matt Reese will have to keep them in the game and hope they can find a way to get a goal.
Is there an advantage to playing on Sunday when you know what you need to do?
Potentially, but it's so convoluted. I mean, they could be out potentially going into Sunday. They could have a good chance. I mean, what they need to do is win. Yep. They just need to win the game.
Well, New England's struggling. A team that isn't struggling, FC Dallas. 4 wins in a row. For them, it's all about attack, attack, attack. However, Cunningham, he's the man. He's leading the league in scoring right now. This past weekend, though, they got the win, and he didn't get the goals.
Jeff Cunningham has been unbelievable, and I'm not a big believer that he does it at critical times when it really counts. But credit to this Dallas team. I love the pickup of Hernandez deep in the midfield, teamed up with McCarty. They really control that central part of the midfield.
Well, since Danny's come in, McCarty has been getting into the attack a little more, trying to orchestrate things going forward. They play Seattle. This is a game they really need to win, looking at it. Up in Seattle. Seattle will probably be fighting for the Western Conference title.
Yeah, they're not getting any favors from Seattle.
No, they're not.
There's no way. So, I mean, what they really need to do is get Cunningham, use his speed, try to get behind that back line. Seattle has an athletic back line. I don't think he's going to dominate them like he did LA's in that one game. Cunningham's got to finish his chances. In this past game, he had a bunch of chances. He didn't finish. Dallas was lucky to get 2 goals from their center backs, and I don't think they can plan for that again.
That's when it comes down to the stretch, it's all about the center backs. Doesn't everyone know that yet? Going forward and in back, it doesn't really matter.
They're the man. The guys up front, they're going to run around, make 10 mistakes, score a goal. They're the hero.
Well, that's the way it worked out for Luciano Emilio of DC United this past weekend. He gets a goal, and DC finally gets a win after 3 straight losses. Now they go up against Kansas City, away to Kansas City, in a game that, just like all the other teams at this point, they need to win.
Yeah, they need to win. They're another one of those teams in that 39-point cluster. There's only 1 spot. I mean, potentially there could be a few spots open depending on other results, but they need to win to have a chance. And then you look at, the different permutations of who they might be tied with and, who's in and who's out. So
DC United has been a schizophrenic team this season. And so to come down to the last day of the regular season, on the road, hostile territory, Kansas City struggled, but Peter Ramis is going to have them organized. I think it's going to be a big challenge. They need Christian Gomez to try and get the ball, dictate the pace of the game, create counterattacks. That's their chance.
It's amazing to me to think about all the teams that are on 39 points. All of them are playing away this weekend.
Yeah, it's interesting.
It's an incredible coincidence.
I would say if you're a DC fan, I'm going to actually look at a piece of paper for this because that's how complicated it is. DC beats Chicago in a tiebreaker. and they beat Dallas in a tiebreaker. They would lose to New England, Salt Lake, and Toronto. If they were head-to-head with any of those teams, that's how it works. So what they need to do is win and have New England, Salt Lake, and Toronto lose or tie, not be in that tiebreaker scenario with them, and they should be good. And if you're a DC fan, root for Chivas on Thursday.
For the most part, for all of these teams, you just win and pray.
Yeah.
That's the way it works out. And one of those teams that will definitely have to pray, Real Salt Lake. They are the one team that must win if they will have any chance in this, because they are right now at, what are they at, 37 points,
right.
2 points out of that playoff zone to begin with. If they draw or lose, they're out no matter what. They have to win, and their big rival, Colorado, comes to town.
Yeah, they can win this game, tie Colorado on points at 40. So then depending on what happens with all those teams at 39, they either have a shot or they don't. But if they do beat Colorado and they have that shot, they probably need to beat Colorado by at least 2 goals to make up that goal differential.
Well, it is the Rocky Mountain Derby here, and Shep, how much will emotion carry the day for them, and obviously for Colorado as well, but mainly for this home team, Real Salt Lake?
I think emotion will certainly be a factor the first 5-10 minutes of the game.
Yeah.
And that's where Jason Kreis has to try and control that, or give the message to the team. Put that in a positive fashion. Don't go helter-skelter. We don't have to win the game in the first 10 minutes. This is not the time of the year to look back at all the points we squandered, lost opportunities.
Right.
Let's go out, control the 90 minutes. As Jason said, if we can, multiple goals, but all we can do is try and go win the game.
29 games played, 1 left for all of these teams that are hoping that their season will continue a little bit more. It's going to be, for me, probably the best weekend in MLS history. I'm just going to throw it out there.
I definitely agree. I mean, I can't wait for even Thursday's game.
Thursday's game as well. Don't forget that. Chivas at Chicago. Chicago, they get a win or a draw, and they're in the playoffs, and that makes it more difficult for everyone else. Well, that's all we have for you this week on Extra Time. Make sure you catch all of the games this weekend. We'll be sitting in front of TVs with our feet up for sure. No doubt on that one. You can always email us at extratime@mlsnet.com. And one last reminder that this is the last week for the Extra Time Guest Reporter Contest. Go to mlsnet.com, go to video, and down to Extra Time for all the details and where you can send your submission of an interview and possibly win a trip to join us in Seattle for the MLS Cup. That's all we have for you this week, but join us next week and we'll take it around.